entrepreneurs and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Hello. Let me put on some glasses so I can see out into the world. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting old where I'm not sure if I need to put my glasses on and back up because they're for distance. If I should take my glasses off and lean forward. Like, like if you know the struggle, then you with me because I'm like, I don't know, friend. We're gonna see. If I take them off and put them on a lot, then you already know the struggle is real over here and girl cannot see. But that never stops us from, getting through the material and having a good time. Because I don't care if I can see a nut. We're gonna do these. And there's actually been, I was telling somebody today, I said, I've been doing these lives now for 2.5 years. And so, knowing that I've been doing these lives for 2.5 years, hold on a second. Something just, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. I don't know if y'all can see me. Hold on, let me check. I just realized. Hold on 1 second. I got screen jolted. But what I was saying while I try to fix this is knowing that I've been doing this thing for 2.5 years, there were times when your girl could not see. I was right after surgery, doing different things. So we be here, y'all. We be here no matter what, whether I can see, whether the light's too bright, whether I can't find my notes, whether my slides are wrong. It don't matter. We're going to be here. All right. Join us live. I think I got everybody. Let me just double check LinkedIn and then we're going to get started, y'all. Because I'm hungry. That's the truth. I'm hungry and I want to sit somewhere and eat. So I feel like y'all are in my boat right now. It's a Monday. It's summertime. I want to sit, eat, and enjoy myself for a little bit. So we don't get on and get off. Let me just make sure that you guys can see me. And take it 1 second. All right. Sometimes it's one of those days where I can't think and talk because if I start talking and trying to type, I'm going to be all over the place. So hold on 1 second. All right, let me just give you guys a note to let you know we are live. All right, we're going to get started. Just wanted to make sure I got everybody. I realized today was the day where my brain started splitting. I'm going to go back and look at the beginning few seconds to see what that just looked like. Because my brain was two different places at once. All right, cool. Now I can just focus on you guys. All right. So for those of you who are like, who is this girl and why is she all over the place? I am Corey von Bill Foster. I am a speaker. I'm a trainer. I'm a certified business coach specializing in helping small businesses actually get things done. So we want you to get that course done that you've been thinking about. We want you to connect with clients. We want you to go ahead and create those events, the masterclass, the challenge, or whatever the case may be. We want you to get those things done because right now a lot of stuff is kind of stored in you guys' heads. And it's not happening, right? You want to do all these things, but for some reason you're not getting them done. And so that is what we help you with. On top of that, I actually am the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, which is a small business marketing firm based out of Virginia, servicing coaches, consultants, speakers, authors from coast to coast with done for you services. So websites, landing pages, logos, simple funnels, VA services, social media management, the list goes on and on. So those are our done for you services. And that is what we do here at iRock. I think I got through it pretty quickly. All right. So what are we talking about today? Oh, before I forget, stay to the end because I do have some more information on the masterclass that I mentioned to you guys last week. So I want to throw that out before I get started, but let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see. We're going to pull up our slides. All righty. Yeah, 1 second. I'm gonna change this background real fast. There we go. That looks better. I'm sorry. Again, we're trying to keep it real simple today. I do not want a lot of distractions for myself. All right. And feel free, y'all. This is a chill space, whether you're watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or anything else. Please feel free to comment if you have questions, if you have suggestions, if you were going to just say a yes, me too, amen. Feel free to throw those in the comments. I will try to look at them as I go and answer anything. But if I miss it, I promise I will go back and answer or comment on anything that you guys say during the session. I always go back. Even if you're watching the replay, I'm constantly coming back to these videos and answering questions. So let's get into it. So what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about pricing with confidence, how to charge what you are worth without apology. So this month, I already told you, we're going to be talking about sales. This is definitely, if you haven't been taking notes on the previous sessions, this is the session you should be taking notes on. The whole series we're doing in July and the masterclass that's going to happen on August 1st, like all those things you need to be tapped into, because there's no reason why you should not be able to sell and charge what you are worth, right? Without feeling bad. I have several clients who are in, I hate the word DI, like the DI thing, but they're in spaces that serve our community. That's how I'm going to say it. And something that bothers me is, even though they're helping us, right? People that look like us will say, hey, if you really cared about this demographic, you would do it for free. How dare you charge for this when people need it? Like, it's all that stuff to kind of make you feel bad. And it's like, hold on now. People want you to change their lives, right? Make a big impact, and they want it for free. People want you to give up your time, your energy, your finances, right? To support them, but they want it free, right? Or very low cost. And you spent tons of money on your education, on maybe a degree, a certifications, a licensing, what have you, life experience, and they want you to give that off for free. Does that sound fair? Because I don't think it does. And I think a lot of times these entrepreneurs don't think about that in the moment, because we're just like, what about them? Because we're a giving type of folk. But it's like, no, we've invested a lot to be able to give people the resources. And oftentimes I find that we already start off pricing too low. So I want us to kind of get out that habit of apologizing or feeling bad or, compromising ourselves just so that people will buy, when we know what we're giving them is something that is going to be beneficial to them and is worth way more. So we're going to kind of dive in that tonight to kind of give you guys some hopefully some food for thought about how are you pricing, why are you pricing the way you're pricing, and maybe why you're not closing the deal. So we got a few things. Oh my gosh, hi, the triple C effect. Okay, cool. I don't think I've seen you before. You on LinkedIn. Shout out to the LinkedIn folks. What's up? Sorry, y'all, I can see I'll put it on the screen so I don't look like a weirdo. There it goes. A comment. So shout out to the triple C effect. And that sounds so familiar. I bet I know who you are. That's cool. Welcome. All right. Let's dive in. I already kind of gave you a little bit about what we do, so we'll skip that slide for today. So we got 3 things to cover for today. We're going to, 1, understand the key factors that should influence your pricing. Simple enough. We're going to learn, you're going to learn how to clearly position your pricing in conversations and content. And then 3, you're going to handle price objections with confidence, not fear. If that sounds like something you want more of, let's go ahead and dive in. So let's start with the question, because, again, if you're new to this space and me doing these talks, I like you to have buy-in right away, because this isn't for me. So I love giving you a question. You don't have to answer in the comments if you don't want. You can if you wish. You can write it down if you want. You can just think about it. But I want you to start kind of understanding these concepts in a way that makes sense to you, that you can actually sit with in real life. I don't want this to be like school where the teacher's giving you an example that you will never use, never understand. It's like it has nothing to do with you. And so it's hard for it to really sit in and actually be something that you can utilize. Sorry, I need a sip. All right, first question. How many of y'all have ever lowballed your price, right? Then kind of felt resentful throughout the process of actually serving the client. I know this was definitely, it not even has been me, but it's been me numerous times, right? Matter of fact, I don't know many, if any, entrepreneurs that this hasn't happened to them at least once, where you know what the price should be, right? We're gonna start there because some of you want me to start at, oh, yes, you have no clue what the price, and that might be true for some of you, but for some of you, you've been lowballing your price, right? You have a price in your head, maybe it's 20K. You get on a call and then you're like, 10K, right? Because for some reason you feel maybe it's, through the conversation, or whether you're just nervous, maybe you haven't sold it before, or you just think they're going to say no for some reason, you go and lowball yourself. And then at the end of it, you're like, well, at least we got the job, right? At least I got the job. At least we got the job. That's some money coming in. But what happens is the people that pay less than what you worth oftentimes ask for the most. They gonna nag you. They gonna ask for even more than what they, were contracted for. They're not gonna have their parts done so you can do your job efficiently. Like they're gonna be a pain in your butt, and you are gonna be hot. They're gonna be like, they ain't even paying me what I'm worth, right? How many of us have said that? They don't even know. They ain't even paying me what they should be paying me, and they tripping, right? Like I said, I know I ain't talking to myself. Like I've done it, and I've been in enough accountability groups and coaching masterminds that I've heard enough people are like, I shouldn't even have took that client. But a lot of times it comes out of fear and desperation, right? Like sometimes you just like, I really need this money. Let me just do this little job, especially those short-term contracts. Let me do this little job real quick, even though it ain't at my usual price. Nothing close to my usual price, right? You do that, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, maybe even 3 months later, you're like, why did I take this job? Why did I do this? I'll never do it again. And then what'll happen? Another situation will happen later on, and you do it again. So like I said, I know this question. I'm talking to people out there. You sitting there like, dang, yeah, it's me. It's me. I get you. Right. But we got to stop this mentality of lowballing ourselves, because it is going to result in us being upset, right? And it may be with the client, maybe with ourselves, it may just be with the universe. We're gonna be hot because typically these types of clients are not ones that you're going to be able to retain unless you continuously give discounts. And who wants to do that, right? Clients who are not willing to pay you your worth and they want to, barter, and not even barter, but like lowball you and stuff, especially if they say something. But a lot of times it's y'all saying it. But either way, it tends to not be something that can be long term, because eventually you are going to get your confidence, or enough people will purchase that offer or do something that now the price is more, and that person was never willing to pay that price. And why would they pay a whole bunch more if you gave it to them for nickels and dimes? Right. So we got to set the standard. And again, I get there may be some exceptions, but let's make those exceptions and not the rule. If 90% of the time you're lowballing yourself, then we have work to do. If it's only maybe 1-2%, maybe once or twice a year because of, special situations, then that's perfectly fine. I always want to leave room for us to be human, even though we're business owners. So I always try to be honest with you. Some things, yes, I get it. But for the most part, we gotta stay the course. All right. Do you actually know what goes into your price, or did you just pick the number, and it felt safe? Right. This is a great question because of the fact that some of you may say, well, I'm not fearful of the numbers. I just didn't know, like, I didn't know what to do. I just came up with a price. I had a client once, she's still a client, but she don't do this as much anymore. Somebody would, hit her up and say, like, I want this. And she'd be like, okay. And then she'd come and be like, how much would you charge for this? And it would be all the time. And I was like, wait a minute. And this was a product-based business, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. We got some things to think about, because it's not like, oh, I'm looking at it as a consumer, like how much would I pay? Right? It's like, wait a minute, what are your competitors charging? How much does this thing cost you to make? How much does it take you to get it to her? Like all these pieces, is this customized or is this the regular standard? Does it have any add-ons? Like lots of questions. And so I want you guys to start thinking about what actually goes into your pricing, not what should, but what currently is. And then once you know what you're doing as far as your pricing model, then does it make sense, right? Does it make sense? because we first got to know where we are to know where we're going. So look at your pricing now and say, okay, well, why did I pick this price? First of all, was it fear? Was it desperation? Was it just a name pulled out of a hat? Was it one competitor research? So you found one business like yours down the street and priced it just like theirs? Was it because the lady on YouTube told you so? Like, what was the reason for your pricing? And does that make sense? And then if it doesn't, what new pricing model should you look at in order to be able to price in an appropriate way? And we do, and I'm not going to touch on this too much tonight, but we're going to cover more in the masterclass, like the different pricing models. I really wanted to get out of here in 30 minutes or less, so it was not included in today's talk. I definitely think I did it last year and the year before, but I promise we will get into it. But if you are ready to put all these things into action, I definitely think the masterclass may be something you want to take advantage of. But all right, let's talk some more here. So what types of things affect the price, right? And like I said, there could be lots of things. It could be lots of things, but let's go here and talk a little bit about this. So, excuse me, I'm stuttering today. All right, your price should reflect more than just time. It reflects transformation. And this is kind of to the point I was saying earlier. People want to be like, oh, well, this should be free. It's like, but you want to come to this well put together, well organized, resource packed, tips galore, all the bonuses. You want all this stuff that's going to transform your life and move from A to B, but you don't want me to charge you anything. Again, does that make sense? Absolutely not. So your price should reflect more than just time. It should reflect the transformation. So even in the coaching world, people will be like, well, 4 hours, that may cost them, I don't know, what is it for? Try to do the math real quick. Well, no, so we usually do hour coaching. I think I said hour, but my brain went to 4. So an hour coaching call, right? Maybe they get one a week. So in a month, they're saying, oh, that's where the 4 came in. They're saying 4 hours. I was like, how are my numbers? I'm not good at math, y'all. So do they get 4 hours and maybe you're going to charge them $1,000? And they're like, that's crazy, because if you take $1,000, you divide it by 4, that's a nice amount of money. And it's like, well, you're not paying for the time. You're paying for the transformation. And that's the part people don't want to talk about. So what are you doing now? A lot of you are charging per hour for transformative results. That's like that coaching. Well, how much is an hour? Like, no, this is the package. This is what it is. Because people don't realize too that when you're coaching, there's typically work to be done on the front end and the back end. There may even need to be time to do additional research, to send follow-ups, all this stuff. And people want to say, well, no, I'm just with you for an hour. But that doesn't mean I'm only working on what I need for you for an hour. And even still, we don't charge per hour. We charge per transformation. So pricing, right now you might be doing pricing based on how long a task takes you, instead of the long-term value. So I started off as the VA. A lot of people know that. And yeah, back in the day, we charge for like a set amount of hours in a certain time frame. And typically VA services still do that, within some exceptions. But what I realized was I was doing a lot more work that was long-term, that was going to really be a big help to my clients. And I was like, I can no longer call myself a VA, because again, that transformation that I was able to help them do through talking with them through their projects and all of that, I was like, the numbers aren't making sense. All right, so that's one thing to think about. Another thing is to think about your experience, right? A lot of you, again, have been doing this for a long time. I always hate when clients come to me and they're like, well, I'm new at this. I'm like, well, no, you're an expert. You've been doing what you do for a long time. You may be new to the marketing piece, right? You may be new to the sales piece. You may be new to like manufacture, but you're not new to being an expert in what it is that you do. So we're no longer going to leave our expertise behind. The tools we have, the licenses, the degrees, the certificates, the whatever, the energy you bring, the perspective you bring, the knowledge you bring, the outcomes you give. Like, we don't want to leave those things behind. Right? Because right now you're ignoring years and years of experience and credentials just sitting there by the wayside, right? You'll put it behind your name, but you're not going to talk about it, and you're not going to consider it for your pricing. Why is that? Make it make sense, y'all. So please, please, please keep that in mind also when you're doing your pricing. If you're new to something and you want to charge a little less right now, okay. But as you build, then charge more. And I don't mean outside of your expertise. Like for me, I was a self-taught VA, so I didn't have a whole bunch of skills in the beginning. So yeah, I charged a little less, and then as my skills grew, then my prices did grow. But a lot of you got like all the skills and things now, and you're still trying to lowball yourself. So we'll stop that. We're gonna stop that. I'll give you an example too. So you spent 5 years, right, learning what you're going to be giving, right, delivering, informing your client base about, and you're going to get them where you got in 5 years and 5 weeks. Should you be charging nickels and dimes? Again, no. Okay. So don't forget, your pricing should fund also your freedom, your lifestyle, what you're trying to have. And I think, again, some of us lose sight in the moment when we're selling, and we don't think about why we got in the business in the beginning. And that's why I always say you have to be grounded in your why. Because if you know why you're doing this, and then you know that you're doing it ethically and that your product really does do what you say it's going to do, then your pricing should push you towards a lifestyle, a type of life that you want to live. And I'm not saying you gotta be like pricing it to get rich, but if you're trying to have, be able to pay for your children to go to university, if you would like to travel a few times a year, if you would like to have a nice house, or maybe some properties, like I don't think you see anything wrong with that. We need to make sure that pricing is really focused around, again, that freedom, that lifestyle, but not working us to death so that we burn out. Because that's what's happening to a lot of y'all. You're working so hard at, and getting paid nickels and dimes, little peanuts, that you're burning out, and you're thinking, oh, well, we got some money coming in, or I'm serving my community, but it's like, but what about you? So that's something else I really want you to consider as well. All right, so let's go here. There we go. All right, next question. What happens in your body when it's time to say your price, right? I just want you to think about it. You can close your eyes, think about it for a second. What happens to you in your body, right? When you actually let the words of your price come out, right? How much does it cost? It costs. Like, what happens? Are you freaking out? Are you breathing heavy? Are your palms sweaty? Like, what is happening to you? Are you starting to rock in your chair? Are your feet getting itchy? Like, whatever the case may be. But what happens to you when you say your price? And if anything negative is the answer to that, again, we got to start moving towards confidently pricing and positioning so that as you sell, you feel perfectly fine, right? And you can sit comfortably knowing that you're pricing appropriately for whatever you're selling. All right. There we go. Look, I think the glasses are getting me, y'all. I'm just like, I don't know if I can see. All right. So let's talk positioning for a second. So positioning your price is important because, again, part of why you may be hesitant to name your price or not comfortable in your price, a lot of that could be because you don't know your numbers. You don't know your stuff. Again, you just pulled that number out of the hat, did very little research. You have this price that you're just like, I don't even know if I should be charging this. Or some of you might even say my pricing is too low, because that also can make you not be able to talk about your pricing with confidence. So think about that for a second. So I don't want you, when you are positioning your offer, right? When you're in your sales call, what have you, I don't want you to just list tons of things that are included, because we get excited as the owners, like people that created this, to tell you about all the features, right? Well, like, oh, it has, a call a week. It has, 12 coaches. I mean, you can just throw stuff at it. It's going to come with a big old workbook, take you from start to finish. We're going to come sit next to you, whatever it is, right? All the features, all the bonuses, all the limited times. But I mean, you just going and going and going. People ain't here for that. They want to know what your offer does. And more specifically, what it does for them, right? So you're saying you're going to get calls, workbooks, etc. But instead, you should try saying something like this. You'll walk away with a clear plan, personalized support, and the confidence to finally launch your offer, right? That could be something I could say to you guys, and I will say it to you guys. But again, a lot of us are doing it the opposite way. We're just telling all the features. It has this, it has this, it has this. And it's like, okay, but what is it going to do for me? Again, because we're selling transformations, coaches, and consultants. All right. Just making sure I'm here with notes. There we go. Second thing, use value first language, What does that mean? We're speaking outcomes and transformation, not tools, not steps. So this takes you even further into we're not gonna talk about all the features. Like people don't want to be like, oh, in the pitch, be like, hey, here's the back end. You're gonna see this, this, and this, and all these little details, and you showing them like a whole demo. Not necessary at all. Because again, people who are really ready to take action and do the thing that you're helping them do, they just want to know that you can get them there, right? The little stuff we'll worry about later, but for right now, I just want to know, is it great? I don't need to know if it's going to be on Facebook, if it's going to be on school, if it's going to be in Mighty Networks. Like, I just need to know that I'm going to have access to the support I need. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. All right. So let me give you a few examples. So instead of saying includes 4 coaching calls, right? That was kind of what we've been talking about, like the features, what's included. You could say you finally have a clear strategy you can trust. You'll stop second guessing your next move. You'll feel supported, focused, and in control, right? You'll leave with done for you launch plan and confidence to implement it. Like those are the things people want to hear, not you're going to get 4 calls. Because why, as a consumer, you have to think too, I don't know how many calls I need to be successful. I don't even know if I need calls. But what I do know is I need transformation, right? I need those outcomes, not, oh, a call is going to do it for me, because I don't know that that's true. Something else to do is use anchored pricing. So this basically means that you mention, right? You've already done your competitor research. You're going to be able to kind of say your price in a way that illustrates that it's a great competitive price, right? So I'll give you some examples of this. Thank you. Like I'm over here like, here we go. All right, so some examples. So you can say something like, most coaches pay 5,000 plus for a program like this, but I've made it available for just, and then you can say the price. So it kind of gives you a little buffer as you say it. You could say working with me one-on-one is a $2,000 value, but this self-paced version is just $297. Again, it's like, oh, I'm getting a deal. This is awesome. I'm still getting great value. If you hired a VA and a strategist separately, X amount of dollars a month, but we'll bundle it for whatever the price is, right? And yes, I gave examples from my industry because y'all gonna start understanding and seeing it. So when you get in the sales call, you'll know that it works because you'll say yes. All right. So those are just a few examples of that kind of anchored language. All righty. There we go. All right, next question. We're almost done. Like I said 30 minutes. We got 2 minutes left. Here we go. All right. So the next question. Someone says, that's too expensive. What is your next move? Right? Somebody is saying no in all the different ways in which our amazing prospective clients say no. What is your next move? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You really want this sale. Maybe you're really excited about the project, the client, what have you. And they find a way to say no, right? It's too expensive, right? It's not the right time, whatever the case may be. What is your next move? And if you don't have a next move, if this is where you kind of stutter step and you get stuck, then let's get into this. What are we going to do? All right. So first of all, there are tons of kind of objections, but I wanted to kind of cover with you guys some common ones you're going to see, right? So you can start thinking about how you're going to overcome them because they're going to come up. It doesn't really, like there are things you can do within the call. And we talk about that in the upcoming masterclass. Like there are some ways to position your sales call or your landing page to get less objections, but people will find a way to object some way, shape, or form. Like it just happens, but we need to kind of again know like the common objections and already have a plan to mitigate that when they do come up. All right, so one common objection is price-based objections. So concerns about cost or affordability, the fear of not getting their like return on investment, that's a big one. Comparing your offer to lower price alternatives, maybe they did their research. Just straight sticker shock or not understanding the value. That happens a lot early on in my business, especially when I started learning more about the industry and realized I should be charging more. People would come book a call. And when I said my price, which was typically the lowest in town, because I was still fairly new, people would be like, oh my God, I wouldn't have guessed that this thing cost this amount of money. And I'm like, oh, so you do no research. Because if you ain't gonna pay, this little bit, I knew they weren't gonna get whatever that was. And a lot of times it was a website. People didn't understand how much website costs or logos. And back in the day, you could get a logo out of us for like the first 2 years for $50. That is like, who's doing that? And so the fact that people had no clue gave them a lot of shock, sticker shock. Some other objections, right? You can have time-based objections. They say things like, now's not the right time. I'm feeling a little too busy right now to be committed, right? They'll say something like, but maybe in a couple months, wanting to finish other programs first. Like I'm almost done with this program, but as soon as I'm done, I'll come join yours. Planning to wait to a new quarter, a new month, a new season, whatever the case may be, a life situation to change. Those are a lot of time-based objections. And these are ones we definitely should be ready for in general, only because we know that when people delay starting something that really is going to help them, then they're losing out on whatever that transformation would have been, right? They're waiting longer. Sometimes things change and that opportunity, right, isn't even there anymore, because not all of us keep our programs up forever, right? This year we may, as a company, have decided we're going to do these 3 programs. Next year maybe something else. And then somebody on a call with you had said, oh, next year I'll do this thing. And now next year it don't exist, or next year the price is vastly different. So we know we need to help them through that kind of mind shift. Speaking of mind shifts, mindset and confidence objections. So their fear of failing, maybe they tried a program in the past similar, but they did not succeed. Imposter syndrome or not feeling ready, especially when we talk about high ticket. People are like, I don't know if I'm ready to invest at that level yet. I don't know if maybe they're a crafter. Maybe I'm just a new crafter. I don't want to do this. Oftentimes by them getting in more detailed, more curated stuff, right? Especially in the coaching world. Like if we can get them in the best program now, then they can bypass the weeks, months, years of kind of trial and error, or trying to figure it out themselves, or maybe taking cheaper it'll help you with this, but not that type of programs. Right. So we don't want people to be like, I'm not ready for this yet, because they probably are. Fear of success. What if this works? I like people who are working a 9-to-5 will be like, I don't want to go too fast and like get too big, because I don't plan to leave this job for another, whatever. And we had to get into some numbers, and I was like, okay, well, what happens if you, do blow up? Like how much money a year? Because they're like, I was still gonna work my regular job. Well, how much would you need to quit your job? We go over that. Like, how much is your yearly salary? So how much would you need to make in your business to feel comfortable? Because the thing is, if your business does that great, where you don't like it's taking up what your check is, why not leave your job and come to something that you probably like a lot more, you have a lot more control over, right? That's just my thought for the clients I work with, especially because they are working and they're trying to start businesses. And it's like, well, just if it's going to get you this, then why not? You know what I mean? Makes sense to me. Some people also feel undeserving in investing with themselves, or for themselves, excuse me. And I deal with this a lot because I work with a lot of moms, right? And when it comes to women and moms especially, we put ourselves last. And so even though you might have $1 billion idea, right, for a business, for a product, whatever, you would almost dim yourself to be like, well, I got to be sensible. We got kids about to go to college. I got to stay at this job. My husband's working. And you won't put yourself out there to start or to really push and to learn more, to better your craft. And it's because you feel like, I can't possibly spend this money on myself, on my dreams, on my wishes. I got to put other people first. So please, that happens. And depending on your target audience, that does happen. Have something in mind for that as well. And then we have some trust-based, I cannot talk today, some trust-based objections. So people are saying things like, not sure if you or your offer is the right fit. Skepticism based on bad investments, probably in the past. Again, that happens a lot in the coaching world. People pay for coaches and they be duds, and they'll be like, I don't know, friend, because I've been burned in the past. That's about the program's ability to deliver the results you said. And then also sometimes it's just they feel you don't have enough social proof or results from someone that is very similar to them. So I'll give you an example of this. I work with different types of coaches and consultants. I always say coaches and consultants, but some of them are like ed consultants. Some of them are like tech consultants. Some of them are nonprofits. Some of them coach like corporate companies. Some of them coach just regular individuals, different things, right? And so I may say, they're like, oh, can you show me some clients you're working with right now? I may show them 3 profiles and they'll be like, dang, that's not really what I do. So I don't know if it's going to work for me. And I'm like, what? I did a lot, but no, it happens. People, you have to have, again, ways to do that. So one way I mitigate this before they even get to the you got any questions stage is I will, when I look at what they do in their business, before the call, I will already know kind of what they do so I can find examples of similar, even if I don't have exactly similar companies that I've worked with and given them results, right? So, because I mean, we've been doing this a long time. I've had DJs, therapists, teachers, professors, people in government contracts. I've had people all over the place. And so I should be able to pull a client out that's somewhat-ish similar, enough to show that social proof. All right, so some other objections. Clarity objections. This is confusions about what's actually included, not seeing how the offer solves their specific problem, unclear outcomes, overwhelmed from too many features or steps that you shouldn't have mentioned, but you did. Those are also some objections. Then we have decision-making objections. Needing to talk to a partner, a spouse, a team member, when they get up there and they listen to the whole thing and then say, well, I'm not the decision maker, that objection. Not having the final say over purchases, wanting to check with a coach, a mentor first. Corporate institutional red tape also is a thing when they're like, oh, I got to send this up the chain. Those can all be objections to the sales process, to the product, to the service. So those are some things to think about. I think most of those are pretty self-explanatory. Another common objection is comparison or information seeking. Some people will hit you up just to find out about pricing. And it could be because they're just kind of shopping around, getting quotes, but it also could be because they may be competitors just getting information. And then they usually object by saying, like, let me think about it. I'm still researching options. I'm going to look around a little bit more. Can you send me more information? And while I'm saying this, if you are on the consumer end, these may seem all those objections seem valid, right? Maybe all of these things are true. And they are to the person who's saying it. What I'm saying is, as the person on the sales call that's actually trying to facilitate the sale, it is your job to see these for what they are, and be able to overcome them for the sale. And I'm not saying like we gotta, be magicians and do anything under board. But what I am saying is sometimes these objections are really just because of fear, because of people not ready to take action and things. But again, if I know that it's a good fit for somebody and it's not going to cause them like harm, like they're not, paying for my services and not being able to pay for rent and food, that type of thing, as long as it's ethical, I will try to overcome these objections. You should too. Not in a weird way, but in a very ethical way. All right. So a few little extra little bonuses for you guys is I want you, when you are about to say your price, I want you to not panic. Don't shrink. Don't explain a whole reason why. People will try to give me the whole reason why they created the product or service and, what they were thinking about during the process, and then explaining like, because of how long it took and all the pieces that, they had to pay for X, Y, and Z. So this is the cost. Like, please don't over explain all that stuff, right? I want you to calm down, take a breath. I want you to realize that objections are often people asking, is this really worth it for me? Right? They're not trying to, duck and dodge just because. They're just trying to be like, why should I buy this? You know what I mean? Is it the thing that I really need? And it's our job to show them that it is. Make sure also that you're responding with clarity and curiosity, right? I don't want you guys forgetting kind of this technique. It's really simple. I'm going to do it in a couple, because I'm already at 40 minutes. I'm doing a couple seconds. All right. So one, acknowledge them. Make sure that you say, when you're trying to overcome these objections, I should go back to say that part. So you're trying to overcome objections. I want you to try this respond with clarity and curiosity technique. So we got acknowledge. That's the first one. Say something like, totally understand, it's an investment, right? Because again, a lot of you sell high ticket. People are, sticker shock, like, woo, what is that? And you're like, yo, I totally understand. It's an investment, right? I get it. It ain't cheap. Totally. Say that. However, it makes sense for you. Then reframe. Here's what that investment unlocks, right? Not, well, look, but this is what we're going to give you. No, this is what that investment unlocks. And I love the word investment instead of price or cost, because when you pay for something and you're just paying a price, paying a cost, you're losing something, right? Something's being taken away from you. But when you are investing in something, you are the idea of investment is that there will be a return. And so that's what we want people's minds to be as you talking about your pricing anyway. So here's what the investment unlocks, and then ask them a question. What support would help you move forward? Because sometimes we don't need to be like trying to just guess at what the problem is. Just ask them. So, I totally get that, it's an investment, right? But here's what the investment unlocks. You tell them a couple of things that it's going to do. It's going to transform. It's going to give you clarity. It's going to give you strategy, all that fun stuff. And then you say, what support would help you be able to move forward? And sometimes it's like, what are the payment options? Or when does what is it called? Like, when does this registration or enrollment end? Or how many spots are left? Like, sometimes they just got like one nagging question, and if you say the answer, they'll be ready to move forward. Okay, so that's something to think about. All right. So we have covered, that's what I said. I'm trying to save my 30 minutes. We have 42 minutes. We'll get off here. All right. So we've covered knowing what your price reflects, right? Transformation. Communicating the value, not just the features, being very value driven. And then we talked about handling objections with leadership, not panic. Because some of y'all be panicking, right? You will say your price and immediately start rolling out a bazillion things. And we're like, no, calm down, say your price, be quiet, and then hear what they have to say and then react to the objections. Or if they say yes, and then go to the next step. So you get a challenge every week. This week, I want you to practice saying your price out loud, right? We're going to make it look a little crazy, but record yourself, watch the replay, and adjust until you feel powerful when you say it. So I would say pick the thing you're focusing on selling for the next 30 days, whatever it is. It may be high ticket for some of you. It may not be, but whatever it is, I want you to know that price. I want you to say the price out loud with confidence, record yourself, and then look at it and keep doing it every day until you feel amazingly confident in saying your price bold. Okay. That's the challenge. It's an easy challenge this week. And I've been talking about the masterclass all night. I talked about it last Monday as well. But if you have not signed up already, please do. We are starting this new masterclass series. We'll call it. It may not always be a masterclass. It may be a challenge. It may be what have you. But we're going to do something special around each month's theme. And I've been talking about it. This month's theme is all about sales. So we're going to do a 1-hour masterclass called Closing the Call, how to confidently convert clients without feeling pushy. In that 1 hour, you guys are going to understand how to do a sales call, and you're going to leave with a sales script that you can utilize to actually better your sales calls like that day, right? Because we're going to work through it. We're going to talk about why each piece is there and really clean up your sales calls. So if you've been struggling, maybe you've done all the marketing pieces, right? You've done all that hard work. You built up, an audience, and now you're ready to sell. You get them on a call and then you fumble, right? If you looked at the data and you're like, dang, I get them on a call, but for some reason I don't close, then this master class is going to be for you, because we are going to make sure that when you leave, you feel more confident, right, about your pricing, about how you convey and position your price, and then also how you actually get to the yes. Okay, so that's the masterclass. It's going to be July 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern. It is virtual. It is free. So look, you ain't got no objections, right? It's virtual. You ain't got to leave the house. It's free. What if, here we go, another objection. I have something that at that time. Still register, because we will give you access to the replay for 7 days. Of course, we want you in the building, right, in the virtual space, so you can, have a chance to ask questions or what have you, and engage in the comments, and we can have a good chat and conversation. But if you can't, you do get access to the replays for 7 days. So definitely take advantage of that link. You use the QR code, you can use the link. It's in the description part of this live. If you have any questions, throw them in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer. And if you're saying, Corey, I want to give a sales call with you, right? Or I want to talk to you. These actually aren't sales calls. These are more like, I guess traditionally they'd be discovery calls. But these are virtual coffee chats where you can actually talk to me for about 30 minutes and let me know kind of what's going on in your business, what challenges you're having. And in that 30 minutes, I will try to give you as much value as I can. Now, if part of that value is maybe we do have a service that we could like help you with that. Like say, for instance, you're like, I really just need a home for my business. And we talk about like, oh, do you want to try like using Canva? Or you want to do this? You can make this yourself, right? We give you all that. And you're like, I really wish that you could just take care of it. Cool. This is what that would look like. That's the only way you get sold to in these calls is if it's that kind of scenario. But if it's not, it's just a value-packed 30-minute call. So you can use this QR code. Oh, can't talk today. Or that link at any time. That link stays for the whole year. So don't feel like you're rushed to do that. But the masterclass, that is limited because I don't know if it's going to come back again. This is the first time I think we've done masterclass on this particular topic. So again, act now. Act fast. But no, it's virtual, guys. We got plenty of space. So again, if you are looking to do better with your calls, your sales calls, then please go ahead again, use that QR code. I'll leave it on the screen for a moment. And join us on August 1st. I just realized that thing says July. August 1st, y'all. I'm sorry. I was like, July 1st, I'm past. So August 1st. But that code is correct and that link is correct. All right, guys. Well, that was it for today. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and I will see you guys soon. In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to iRock Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why iRock offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At iRock, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.